Welcome to the Pool Nation Podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I'm your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. Today, we're talking to Jeff Morrow Jr. with the Cool Pool Deck Coating about something that we think is going to open a lot of eyes in our industry, and that is opportunity. Not just adding more pools, not just working harder, but how you can actually create more revenue, more margin, and more growth with the customers that you already have. We're also going to talk about seeing opportunities in the backyard that most people walk right past and how understanding that can completely change your business. But before we do that, I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, a podcast where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and trading in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our visionary partners for this podcast, the SPPA, Blu-ray XL, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, Encore Filtration, Heritage Pool Supply, Hayward Pool Products, Poolside Tech, Pool Brain, Knee Deck, and the Cool Pool Deck. Appreciate that. We want to thank them for their continued support. Mr. Flawless, you know, this is...
You did it.
I did it. I kind of screwed up there all the way at the end, but I don't think anybody's going to catch on.
No, I think you nailed it, brother.
Yeah.
That was a tongue twister, you know, but you nailed it.
I nailed it. Everybody listening, I was worried about, you know, the Cool Pool Deck.
It's a lot of pressure.
Coating,
It is.
Right? It was, you know.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Yeah. And by the way, Jeff just kind of changed it on me at the last second there because he was like, you seem a little too lax. Let's throw a curveball at you here.
Yeah.
So.
Had to make sure he's awake.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Flawless, good morning. I know that we're on a Tuesday. I think a lot of people aren't going to be expecting us, but we're here, baby.
No, hopefully it'll be a nice little pleasant surprise for some of you guys out there. Look, we're doing a special midweek podcast with our friends over at the Cool Pool Deck. Mr. Jeff here is in studio, and we're excited to talk about the new addition that we've brought in to our boot camps. For those of you that have attended them and had the chance to take his class, you've seen and kind of opened your eyes to the opportunities of the backyard and how much more we're missing out on as pool professionals. And so we're bringing it out to the masses today, and we're going to introduce you guys to them and their product, their journey, and what they've brought for us. And I think it's pretty exciting, actually, and a lot easier than expected when it comes down to doing this. And I'm not going to give away too much of it, but before we get into the podcast, I want to talk a little bit about my beautiful baby granddaughter. So,
which, by the way, I'm going to apologize because last time, like, we were talking about it, and I just showed a video, and then I panic afterwards because I didn't have permission from the mom and the dad.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, I hope that's okay, and they're not mad at me, John.
Oh, dude, I don't know what is up with this, dude. No,
well,
it's fine.
You know,
look,
it's brand new baby,
get it.
so
I guess apparently, look, I'll tell you a little story. There's a little insight into our family. When the baby was born, I guess pictures were taken and all that, newborn and stuff like that. And apparently, it was like nobody's allowed to post until we post first or something like that. I guess to all Nick's family and to everybody else, right? As soon as I got that picture, bro, and I was like, this is it. Like, that's my little baby girl right there. I don't care. I went up and what I called you, I said immediately, Edgar, let's post this, put this on Pool Nation podcast, right?
And it was
a press release.
It wasn't a, hey, can you do that? He sent me a message like, post that right now. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I'm like, post this right now. I put a little story that I was proud grandpa, right? You know what I mean? And Edgar's like, and of course I go, all right, boom, post it. I would have done it myself, but I'm not very good at this social media stuff, believe it or not.
It's probably why I got a headache that day, because the parents were probably cussing me out.
But I didn't find out till later that I broke this unwritten rule or something, but nobody got upset, because they go, oh, that's just John, right?
Nobody
That's
got
just
upset?
me. Oh, no.
So,
no.
but to all his family, it was like, you're not allowed to. And John did it on this side.
Yeah, I did it before they even did it, right? Before Thalia and Nick did it, right? And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, man. You know what I mean? As soon as that picture's in my possession, it's free game,
Yeah.
But no, anyways, she's going to be like 6 weeks now, dude. And she's already getting her little bit of a personality, and she's sleeping through the night now. She's sleeping like 6 to 8 hours a night.
Oh,
she's just
look at Jeff is like,
right?
Oh.
I got 2 of them. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
First couple months is rough. I'm not going to lie. But
Dude,
congratulations.
and
man.
thank you. And she's just, I don't know, dude, she's just amazing. So anyways, I just want to talk a little bit about her, but
What's her name?
Shelby.
Oh, beautiful.
And there's a reason behind it. My daughter is infatuated with Mustangs. She owns a Mustang. She's had 2 Mustangs. She has a GT, and it looks like a little Hot Wheel, but her dream car is owning a Shelby or a Mustang or a GT 500 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She named her daughter after Shelby, the Mustang.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Jeff, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Man, we're excited to have you out here.
Well, thank you for having me, man. As always, it's great to be in Dallas. Got some other things going on, but yeah, I'm well rested. Ready to do this.
Ready to go?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. So, hey, everybody, we are excited to be out here. I know it's a Tuesday. I know everybody's kind of watching us thinking that it's a Friday. Like they're kind of, a little bit confusion, but it's all good.
Let's just pretend it's a
Friday.
Friday.
Let's just pretend it's a Friday. Yeah.
No work tomorrow.
So, yeah. So, hey, big shout out to Jeanette out there, which jumped on Oxidation Reduction Pool Potential, Berry Blue Pools. Big shout out, Blue View Pools. Big shout out to you guys out there. Before we get started today, there's a couple things that we want to talk about, and that is that we have a big, huge announcement that's coming out August 14th. That's going to be out in Dallas, and Jeff had the opportunity. We shared what it was with Jeff yesterday, and so, Jeff, you cannot spill the tea. You have to be. It's very hard to talk about it and say something without being able to, but what do you think?
Well, I've told you what I think. I think it's phenomenal what it is and what you guys are doing. Oh, how can I?
And that's all you can say, right?
How can I say more? Yeah,
It's tough, right?
Yeah,
it's tough.
I don't want to post the baby pic, right? The
Right.
proverbial baby pic here, but it's outstanding, very impressive, and I think people are going to be stoked.
Awesome.
I think it's awesome for the industry. Yeah.
Great. So we're excited about that. We are going to announce it August 14th. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Central Time. So that'll be 2 Pacific, and then that'll be 5 o'clock Eastern Time. We are going to go live, so everybody kind of stay tuned. As a matter of fact, Michael from the studio is going to come out, and they're going to, help us stream live and kind of do all that fun stuff that we're going to be doing. And then from there, we go to August 19th, which is the VIP event for the Women's Summit, The Drive, and that's going to host about 55 of the women that are going to be attending the Women's Summit. So we're really kind of excited about that. And then that same night, we're going to announce the nominees for the 2026 Pool Nation Awards, which, believe it or not, will be 90 days after that. So it's absolutely crazy. And then from there, we roll right into the Women's Summit, which is going to be August 20th and 21st. That's going to be at Heritage headquarters out here in McKinney. So big huge shout out to all of our sponsors, and big shout out to Heritage for sponsoring and hosting that event. They're just absolutely amazing that they allow us to just kind of take over the entire headquarters. It's kind of awesome.
They are great.
So,
yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, August, is that enough for August? I think August is going to be pretty jam-packed. So jam-packed that I'm flying out in a few days. I'm going to be there for the rest of the month. It's always been go time for us this August. And of course, adding in our extra spill the tea ceremony on the 14th, it's going to be pretty exciting. And then rolling into September, we announced a couple weeks ago, guys, that we're going to be doing a specialized training with Hayward out at their new hub in Irvine, California. It's going to be September 19th, and it's going to start at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. One day only. It's going to be a Saturday, so everybody has time and the ability to be able to show up. And we're pretty excited about this one. It's going to be our first co-class or co-training that we're going to be doing, and we are going to have 4 special classes taught by the top trainers from Hayward. First and foremost, we're going to go over automation, electrical wiring. We're going to cover time clocks, old school, new and touch screen on Bluetooth. We're briefly going to go over Wi-Fi, connecting, avoiding common issues, sub panels, breakers, high voltage, low voltage, transformers, bonding. We're going to talk about how do we properly size up automation? How do we pick it by pad, by future needs? And then we're also going to be covering troubleshooting using multimeters, show common power issues, communication issues, so on and so forth. Next class is going to be plumbing, pumps, and introduction into the new Bluetooth technology for automation. People are going to learn about plumbing, copper versus PVC versus CPVC, how to size, head loss, difference between flow from 2 to 3 inch, 1.5 inch, pump requirements accordingly, what a variable speed is, how to schedule it correctly, how to maximize on savings, how to connect them via high voltage, low voltage, how to connect to all manufacturers, whether you're using a Hayward pump or an IntelliFlow pump or whichever pump that you're using, how to correctly wire them so they communicate. And then introduction into Bluetooth technology with the new OmniX system, where you basically sever all the cords and your automation is built on a wireless field. Next class, this one is very exciting, and it's a new one. It's sanitation and oxidation. We're going to be covering salt systems, how they work, the difference in chemistry with the freshwater pool and the saltwater pool, and how to approach it. We're going to talk about the HydroPure, and then more importantly, AOP, UV, ozone, and the difference in what it can do for you in the pool, how to plumb and set up a salt system, how to program it correctly, how to troubleshoot it, so on and so forth. And then the last class is going to be heaters and heat pumps. So traditionally, we do a lot of heat pump or heater classes. At the last Oxnard training or Van Nuys training, we did a heat pump class with Raypak. Hayward is also going to be doing a heat pump class, and this one in particular is going to be covering the Title 24 for those of you in California. And those that don't know, heat pumps are here to stay in the future. You're going to learn how to troubleshoot them. You're going to learn how to size them correctly. You're going to learn how to install them properly on a pad with coexisting plumbing, new construction, how to plumb them in tandem with the gas-fired heater, what they're capable of doing. You're going to also learn about gas pressure, volumes. You're going to learn how to work on it with a manometer, water chemistry, how it affects it, flow rate, so on and so forth. And there's a lot more to list. I'd be here for another 10 minutes talking about it, but these classes are very detailed and we put a lot of work into them. And Hayward has done an amazing job bringing some of the best trainers out to teach you guys some of the nuances with all these products that we talked about. If you haven't signed up yet, I think our link is live or going live, right, Edgar?
It should be live by the end of the day. So have them go to poolnation.com and then they're going to see the training. They can kind of click on it.
Poolnation.com, get on the training, or get on there, click register. Remember, Hayward, as our visionary partners, they're stepping up and they're picking up the tab for the training here. It's usually $250 per class, and Hayward is picking up the bill. Not only that, they're providing it at their facility, and then they're also going to be providing lunch and food, snacks, and then some giveaways. So spots are very limited, guys. You know how we usually do this with trainings. Here at the hub, we're going to probably have anywhere between 40 to 50 people tops. And we've already had a good portion of those spots already filled up from the people that listen to us announce it on the live. So if you guys are interested, jump on the website real quick and register, or send us a message so we can get your name on the list, or talk to your Hayward rep. And we'll see you on September 19th.
Yeah, the last thing that we wanted to announce is the nominations for the Pool Nation Awards close tomorrow, August 5th. So tomorrow's the last day for you. So you better get out there and nominate. I know that there's a lot of nominees out there, but what's going to happen is what happens to us every year, John. People then start calling and going, oh, I forgot to do it. Can we get this one in? And it's like, when they're cut off, they're cut off. That's it. They're done. So, So we're excited about it. So anyways, guys, let's jump in. Let's talk to Jeff here. I'm excited that Jeff is out here. I'm really excited that you were able to come in and see. It's kind of nice to be able to get a person or two and kind of say, hey, we're spilling the tea. Is it that big of a deal? To make sure that we don't, like people be like, really, for that?
Isn't that crazy? It's funny, right? We do that with everybody. We're like, are we overplaying this? You know what I mean? But no, I don't think we are.
Yeah, you worry.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
So anyways.
It's pretty big.
So Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm originally from Southwest Louisiana, raised in Metro Atlanta, been in manufacturing since I was 19. And my kind of background is in paint and coatings, but over the years, which has been 16 years now, I guess I was 19 or 20 when this all started, we kind of got our start in wood deck coatings. There was this genre of deck coating you could put on your back deck, which is during the recession, we created this coating that kind of repaired an old crappy deck that had splinters and cracks, and kind of got our start there, then moved into concrete coatings and had a very durable concrete coating that was like pretty unique. And then we figured out how to make it stay cool. And that turned into the Cool Pool Deck Coating. So that was about 2012 or 13. And that quickly became our most popular product that we'd ever done. And although we weren't setting the world on fire by any means, but no, 16 years later, still manufacturing everything under one roof. We have like 80,000 square feet in Cartersville, Georgia, which is northwest of Atlanta. Yeah, we blend, batch, fill, label, ship everything from one roof. Have a great team over there. And a bit about me, I have 2 kids, married, beautiful wife. You've met her.
Yes,
yeah, and
she's
John.
phenomenal.
Yeah, she's great. But yeah, it's a little bit about me. I mean, I wear a lot of hats. As our team grows, I'm able to like stay in a lane, and that's the Cool Pool Deck Coating now. But we've launched really good products. We have 3 main brands. The Cool Pool Deck Coating. We have a line of cleaners called Miracle Mist. There's some in Walmart. And then the Trek all-natural insect repellent for your skin was launched in 2023, and that's now the fastest growing natural insect repellent in the country. So that's in Whole Foods, Target, Walmart, Kroger, about 17,000 stores now.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You say that number, and that's 17,000.
It's been crazy. Yeah, it's been fun.
So
yeah.
do you walk into each one of those stores and you see your product and you go, that's mine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't really get old.
It doesn't get old, does it?
Seeing it in the new stores, it's been in Walmart for a while, but going into, we got into Target this year. So seeing it pop up at new places is really satisfying. It's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, because I find this part fascinating, is you started the business with your dad, and at the beginning it just wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of it was struggles to where you got to where you are. But kind of how did you guys start the business back then?
Well, like I said, it was in the recession, so it was a pretty tough time to start a business, but we just started very, very small in a little tiny storage unit, essentially, just blending coatings 1 bucket at a time. I cut my teeth in sales kind of just looking through the phone book. I don't even know if I had an iPhone. Looking through the phone book for painters, remodelers, things like that, just cold calling, say, hey, man, I got this new kind of product. I want to show it to you. Do you have 10 minutes? So I'd pull up on them, give them the little spiel, and they'd say, oh, that's pretty cool, but it was very slow going, very slow going. I don't think we got our head above water until maybe 2016. I don't know. So the first 10 years were pretty rough, but we're doing some cool things now. So.
You are where you are, right?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
You got to have a good team. It's all a team effort,
Now, is your dad still in the business? Is he kind of retired or semi-retired?
Yeah, he's quasi-retired as of this year, so he's never had less to do. So. Love you, Dad.
So now let me ask you, because when you were doing that type of deck work, is it just kind of as hard to get kind of into the pool industry? Because I think a lot of people don't understand how kind of hard it is when they have products and they bring things to break through. Yeah. For that construction side, to me, it almost feels like, man, it's grassroots, right? It's not like you can kind of go open this big, huge marketing thing and people are buying this widget.
Sure,
right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, like big corporations that have established distribution channels, they can come out with new products and instantly pump them through distribution channels, no matter how new and different it is. I heard a saying once, it's like, you want to be different, but not too different. And our products were always pretty different. And contractors are creatures of habit. And I was 19, 20 years old trying to convince them that this is the new hottest shiny thing in the market. And they're like, what's this guy going to really tell me about being a contractor or whatever? But anyways, and still today, like our pool deck coating is a one-of-a-kind, unique, very innovative product. And that's kind of what you were saying. Is it difficult to get into these channels? Yeah, absolutely it is. You show up, you do the demos, but the product is different. And for a coating, it's not like an insect repellent or a cleaner where you use it once and there's no more questions. Like, oh, yeah, that's a great product. It works. A pool deck coating has to last like 6-7 years. It has to check all these boxes first before anyone's going to leave you a 5-star review and say, oh man, that stuff really does work. And so it was we had to put the time in, and did not have an unlimited marketing budget, did not have a huge megaphone for ads and social media presence, and had none of that, So yeah, so along the way, we actually did go turned into an online company sort of for this Cool Pool Deck Coating.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a strategy pivot along the way after I kind of just wore myself thin as a one-man army, going to these distributors, doing the demos, buying pizza. And by the end of it, it's just I wasn't gaining enough ground. But, over the years, I started getting these calls from homeowners like, hey, could I do this myself? I'm reading about it on your website. It seems easy enough. I'm like, well, yeah, I was just in the mindset that this is a contractor product. This is how we're going to grow the brand. And still, contractors are a huge part of our business. But along the way, homeowners would call and they'll tell me, I did this myself and I've never done anything like this. I've had great results. I love this product. My dog can walk on it now. My grandkids can walk on it comfortably, all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, let's pivot to this online presence, instead of, let's work smarter, not harder. So, and that really changed the business along the way. So I think that was 2017. I did my first YouTube video because, thousands of people, contractors and all walks of life would call and ask the same questions. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do a YouTube video. And it was the crappiest video you've ever seen. It was 2 a.m. I was so nervous. Did YouTube, the social media ads. So fast forward to now, we just pulled some data from Amazon, and in the pool repair category, our agency pulled the top 1,000 products on Amazon in the pool repair category. We are number 1 based on revenue.
Wow.
The bucket, the Cool Pool Deck bucket listing. And then we have a bundle that has the full system, the cleaner, coating, and the sealer. That's number 12. Yeah, we're number 1.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
That is pretty amazing, actually.
Man. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Jeff, real quick. So you guys were doing the wood decking, right? And then at some point you transitioned and you had an epiphany, or you saw a need, like all entrepreneurs or inventors find something. Where was that turning point, or what happened to get you to go from your traditional wood deck coating into the need? Did you have a swimming pool at home that you wanted to try, or were you just testing something out, or was there a situation that you came across that said, hey, look, I see a need here and let's create a product to help solve that need?
Yeah, well, the wood deck coating was a clever idea during the recession, which is more of a thrift market where people didn't want to replace their lumber. They'd rather repair it if they could. But just the climate of that market changed really quickly because you had the biggest paint companies in the world pioneering this genre of product at the same time. And it turned out that they weren't that good of products. So overnight, they were in every Home Depot and every retailer, and they didn't fulfill on the promises. So really, that gave that wood deck coating category a black eye. The reputation of it had a black eye from that. So it wasn't long. It went like this, and then it just crashed because those products just got a bad reputation. So we knew our chemistry was awesome on concrete. And then we were like, hey, well, your average wood deck is 400 square feet. Your average pool deck is more like 1,000. So it's better for us, to chase concrete. And there's a lot more concrete out there than, wood deck walking surfaces. So it's a larger market. And the fact that we figured out how to make it stay cool on your feet was just a no-brainer for us. Okay, let's market it not as a concrete coating, but as a pool deck coating, a functional heat-reducing coating. So yeah, that was the best thing we ever did, getting away from wood deck coatings, because wood is just it's a peculiar surface for coatings to perform on long-term, because that wood is, you chop a tree down, it's dead, but then you put it on your back deck and it continues to die for 20 years. So it's going through a lot of movement, a lot of changes and this and that. So pretty tall calling for a coating to last 10 years on a wood deck. Concrete is more predictable, like I said, larger jobs. So we'll never go back to wood deck coatings. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're done with wood.
Done with that, yeah. But yeah, the Cool Pool Deck Coating has been an amazing product that really has some good innovation. From doing these boot camps, I really understand, who I'm talking to now. And I've talked to all walks of life, like I said, about the product. It might be an engineer, an architect, or a homeowner, or a contractor. But when I go to these boot camps, one of my first questions is how many of you have done pool deck renovations before? How many of you have put a pool deck coating down before. And I think one guy has raised his hand in the 20 classes we've done between 2 or 3 boot camps. And I think that's awesome because I tell these guys, I'm like, look, ladies and gentlemen, everything that you're learning inside, as far as the pool heater and the controller and the automation and the pool water chemistry, those are essentials if you're going to have a pool service business. That's like the steering wheel on the car, the brakes, the wheels, the tires. Those are the essentials. But what I'm about to show you in this class, the Cool Pool Deck Coating class, is like a turbocharger you can put on that vehicle. It's not an essential, but it's a turbocharger that can infuse cash into your business quickly. And even if you only do a couple jobs a year, on average, that could add 15 to 20 grand in your pocket profit on average. I mean, just 2 a year, and each job takes 2.5 days. So it's like you're talking about 5 days out of your year, and you can have an extra 20 grand profit. I mean, that can change your situation, you know. I have a story about that too that I tell in the boot camp, so we can get to that later. But it's been really good starting with this group of people that I think the pool service guy has always thought about pool deck renovations, pool deck coatings. They think of it as, that's out of my wheelhouse. It's out of my wheelhouse. I don't have the crew. I don't have the resources. And I'm kind of intimidated by them. So they either think it's out of their wheelhouse or they just haven't found the product for them that they can trust, the one that they're capable of installing. And that's very well due to the anatomy of the market, you know, the pool deck coating market, where it hasn't really seen any innovation since the 1960s when the original Cool Deck came out, Cool Deck with a K. And that is a knockdown, what we call a knockdown texture. Kind of has the up and down, bumpy, kind of stucco finish. I mean, it's on millions of pools, and it's on the Mexican restaurant bathroom walls and ceilings and things. It's called a knockdown texture. But these products are great, and they last a long time. These knockdowns, they're super durable. They stay cool on your feet. They check all the boxes, except they're extremely hard to install. So you only have a small group of contractors out there that are doing that. And most likely that's all they're doing. In fact, the pool builder will build the pool, and then he will sub that work out to a group of people who do knockdown finishes. And I'm telling you, although they are great products, you need a concrete restoration business to do that stuff. You need the grinders, you need the air compressors, you need you're on your hands and knees troweling this stuff out. It's really hard work, but that's what has to be done if you want a really good pool deck coating. Well, enter Cool in 2012. We finally kind of unlocked commercial grade performance with a product that's easily installed. And we can kind of get into that later of how we did that. But historically, it's been these knockdown coatings on this side of the market. And then on the other side, you have these, what I call the glorified paints, okay? And there's not a lot of them out there, but there's some paints out there in a gallon can, and it says it's a pool deck coating. It says it's durable. It says it's made for salt and chlorine and chemical attack and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's just a paint, right? It's just an exterior paint with a texture and a thickener in there. And ordinary paint peels in 2 years. They get hot, they get slippery. So that doesn't make sense around the pool. So I'm rambling.
No, not at all. Actually, John,
No.
I want to talk about it a little bit because, you know, from our standpoint, we like to talk about exactly what you're talking about, right? So you go into the backyard as a pool pro, and John talks about it all the time, right? We talk about all this low-hanging fruit and how we're just not taking advantage of it and stuff like that. But I think what happens is exactly what you're talking about, is that people think, or pool pros, we think, okay, that's not something that I could do because that falls more into like construction, and I'm not a construction person.
Right.
I'm a pool pro. I'm here to service a pool, do repairs. That's kind of my wheelhouse. That's maybe a little bit of more renovation, which I don't do and stuff like that. And it's true. You go out there and you see these jobs and they're grinding and it's like all this mess and it seems kind of overwhelming. And then I think we have a little bit of bad experience, John, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, I always think of the painting as, or the deck, similar to the pool, where it's like you can go through the grinding and all the work, which I can't do. On the other hand, I have experience where I've seen pools painted, and we all know how that works. And every pool pro runs from a painted pool, right?
Right.
And so I think as pool pros, we're kind of a little bit worried of, I got this on one side, which is too complicated, and then over here, I've seen these nightmares of pools being painted with this
Sure.
paint that's supposed to, and it goes away. And I think that kind of shies people a little bit away from doing what you guys have done. But really what you've done is you've kind of, I don't know if to call it a different category would be the name of it, but you've created something that takes everything from step one, right? In a very easy to do yourself that you could do. And that product is super durable where you're not going to have the experience of just the epoxy paint that doesn't stick.
Right. Yeah. If you're a contractor, you've heard the horror stories about not using the right product on the pool deck, right? And inside the pool. But, we specialize in the decking, right? Our product cannot be used underwater. But yeah, I mean, there's horror stories out there. I mean, it's either you do the old school knockdown systems, which are super durable, but requires skilled labor and a lot of resources, grinding equipment, a construction company, right? Or you do paint, which is, cost effective and easy to do, but it doesn't function. So yeah, people, they're like, well, I can't do this and I don't want to do this. I don't want to leave my customer high and dry I don't want callbacks. So I'll just leave the pool deck renovation to the pros. I'm just not willing to do it. So, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them because it's all you have is your reputation and your time.
Well,
so
Edgar, I think, look, you nailed it like right on the nose. And first and foremost, Jeff, I want to say like I was one of those guys originally. And I remember our conversations we had like a year or so ago. I was like, well, this isn't something that I'd want to do or that I'm able to do or that I have the capacity to do right now or that, without it entailing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment and capital to be able to perform, decking and, renovations and stuff like that. But that is completely not the case with this. And I've become a believer, especially seeing it physically and watching it and doing it hands-on, seeing how easy it is to apply. But more importantly, Edgar, what you're talking about is, there's a taboo. We think of painting or doing something on top of it as like a cover-up, right? Or a quick fix. We go through countless of pools where the home, especially during the COVID era, oh my God, where everybody's buying and flipping homes and everybody wants to, they have the pool there and there's the $20,000 worth of replastering that needs to happen, right? And they don't want to do that and put their money into it because I got this and that. And everybody wants to, let's just put makeup on a pig, right? And let's just do a paint coating on it. And we all know as professionals, that stuff doesn't last. The same thing happens with concrete right now where everybody puts these sealers on, right? We got these $1 million homes out here and they go out and they put this high gloss sealer on the coping and on the decking out there. And then literally 6 months later, I'm telling them, don't do it. And I'm getting messages and it's like all flaking and coming apart, right? And it looks like crap. And how do we redo it? And it literally looks like it looks terrible. So we kind of like shy away from it. But what the reason why we're excited about this and obviously why we want to offer it to everybody and let everybody know about it is this is a completely different thing. You're not covering anything up. You're actually improving it, right? You're increasing the life of it, the longevity of it, and in many cases, you're making it better with more features like when it comes down to the cooling, right? All concrete doesn't cool. If you already have Cool Deck, you have that already built into it, you're not losing it. But if you're going over concrete and going over other surfaces, you're giving your customers an ability to be able to still have the benefits of a Cool Deck or that cooling technology at a fraction of the cost without sacrificing aesthetics or quality of it. And in many cases, improving it, like as far as like hairline cracks and stuff like that. So it's hard to really digest this over a podcast, over the radio waves, but I can promise you every single person that attended your guys' classes at our boot camp, and I talked to every one of them, they went with it. I mean, obviously with an open mind for the most part, but they walked away with like, oh my God, what an opportunity. And this is something feasible that we can take on, even if you're a one-man crew.
That's it.
Right? Because you got stories of you, as the owner, the inventor, going out there and making it work, doing big jobs by yourself and then subcontracting just workers so that you can come out and get the job done. It's that easy to do and apply. And you guys have made it pretty simple and foolproof with your guys' kit.
And
It's a no-brainer.
And the thing is, John, me looking back, and we take a look at it for the pool pros, and a lot of pool pros think, well, I want to do bead blasting. So they kind of get into bead blasting right. And they try it. We were talking yesterday about the Deco Seal, right? Yeah. And then they're selling their stuff. Yeah. Don't go down that road. And then you got the Deco Seal, right? Which is things that they're willing to take a shot at, right? But with your product, and I want to talk about it specifically of why that product is different and how they could feel more secure that it's not a paint, because it's not a paint, right? Your product is a lot better product. But to me as a pool pro, I would be like, I'd rather have this on my docket. I'd rather have this on my menu for my customers than doing bead blasting or doing a Deco Seal or any of that, because it's exactly like you say. I could go do one job and the profitability on it is so big that I don't need to do 700 of them a year. I could do a couple of them. Yeah. So talk about that a little bit just to try to give people a visual. So you have the knockdown, right? Mm-hmm. You have the paint. What makes your product in the middle so much better that we know is going to stick, that we know it's going to work?
That's the $1 million question right there. And it's great. And it's something that for the longest time we kept under our hat as a trade secret, because like you said, they see it being applied with brushes and rollers. And they're like, oh, that's just a paint. That's just a glorified paint. Well, it's not. The reason why the knockdowns are so special and they last so long and they're durable and they do what they do is because they're cementitious. Mm-hmm. And that's just a big fancy word for it's cement-based, okay? So what makes them so awesome is precisely what makes them such a pain in the butt to install, because you're dealing with cement and a lot of silly things can happen when you're dealing with cement, right? And got to know what you're doing. Just the nature of that application is very involved. Well, our innovation is, the big secret is that we are also cement-based, okay? We use a very high-grade cement that we have an exclusive on in the coatings industry, and we have incorporated that technology into a delivery system that you can put on with brushes and rollers. Mm-hmm. So that's why the Cool Pool Deck coating is so special and so much different than a paint. So I like to say it's applied like paint, but it performs like more. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to perform like architecture, not like a topical paint that's going to peel off. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there are things that can provoke our coating to do things that it's not supposed to do. And it all comes down to the integrity of the surface and environmental things that we try. We have plenty of videos that say, hey, watch out for this. These are the red flags you need to watch out for. Bad concrete is the number one. Just rule of thumb, if you have concrete like within 2 or 3 years old, just rub your hand on it. If it's never been coated before, just rub your hand on it. And if your palm is covered in white chalky powder, huge red flag. It can be fixed, but you need to know about it before you put a coating on there because it will reject any kind of coating. And we do have the products that'll fix that, but that's an extra step. And I tell these boot campers, I'm like, look, guys, if you walk out to a job and you have a previous knockdown on there that's failing prolifically and it's just in shambles and you got patches and cracks and settling slabs and this and that, it's like, you don't have to, that's not your job. Mm-hmm. You just walk away because there's so many cherry jobs out there that you walk on, you're like, hey, yeah, there's a couple cracks. I got to make a couple patches, but this thing's in good shape. I can clean it, coat it, seal it, walk off the job with a check in 2.5 days. And you already have the customer, so there's no new customer acquisition costs on your part. If you have a pool service business and you want to double that business next year, does that mean you need double the accounts? Does that mean essentially you need double the amount of pools and therefore you got to hire more people to service all that? That's great. And if you can accomplish that, you should. But how about leveraging and maximizing the accounts you already have, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there right now that have gotten questions from the homeowners like, man, my concrete is so hot. I cannot stand on it. My grandkids are slipping and whatever. And I think there's a lot of pool service people that are like, that's just not my bag. You got to call someone else. And that's a shame because you're walking over the most profitable part of the pool. I mean, it's just a one-time big hit, and that can change your quarter or your year, right? That's why our product performs so much better than paint. And that's the innovation of it, is that we bring the commercial grade performance of these knockdowns, but we have it in a system that's easy to install.
I do have a couple questions because it starts to make me think, and you use the word, right? That's not your job, but that specific one is not your job. right? So if you see it falling apart and chipping, obviously I would just be like, look, there's some other underlying problem with that concrete that you need to deal with before. That really, truly now requires somebody else to kind of come and look at it. But on the other hand, I look at it and I go, there's so many other pools that probably would be prime, would be cherry, right?
So
to
many.
be able to just kind of walk into them kind of going, man, this deck is prime for me to walk in, very easy, do it, have the homeowner be happy and know that we're not going to have any problems with it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of coating specialists that do garage floor coatings, and they also do kitchen counter coating, and they have the grinding equipment. They have a trailer full of tools and specialty equipment that they can handle anything. They can walk out to that atrocious situation and handle it. But these boot campers, I'm like, guys, you don't have to be that. Like, you just need a pressure washer and some rollers and take this class, a little know-how, watch a few YouTube videos, and you can make a lot of money, a lot of money. And like I said, even if it's only a couple a year, it can really change things. So
yeah, somebody's asking on here, what's the product? The product is
the Cool Pool Deck Coating.
So
I got it here on my shirt. It's just COOL ! The Cool Pool Deck Coating. You can see it at Encore Coatings.com. So that's ENCORE, Encore. ENCORE Coatings, plural.com. Encore Coatings.com. Or if you just search any generic pool deck coating or paint that stays cool around the pool, like we're going to dominate the SEO, which is another strategy of ours.
I do have a couple other questions for you that I want to get into. I do need to take a break. Junior is cool. Oh my God. So you got a fan over here. Junior and then cool in all caps with the exclamation marks over here. We need this at our HOA pools. Good stuff. Great story. Our boy Todd, Ripple Effects out in Arizona. Big shout out to you, Justin. Good morning out there to you too. And then, by the way, I'm going to come over to Instagram real quick so I don't leave our people hanging over here. So just give me a couple seconds here and then we will go and take our break. But I do want to give a shout out to Maria, Lauren, Birch. Big shout out to you out there. PO Classes, Yushi, big shout out to you as well. Barstow Pools, big shout out. Gilbert, a big shout out to you. Let's see here. 9 Fathom Pools, what's going on, brother? Big shout out to you out there. Jacob Harms. Hey, Jacob, I will see you on the 14th. I know that you're coming out. I got your email. So big shout out to you. Piscinas Fegasas. Big shout out, Aquastar, Aqua Fitness, Noble. Oh, that's Natalie. Big shout out to Natalie. I was trying to figure out who that was. Chris Marcano. Let's see here. Is it Gabe? G-A-B Morrow? Who's that? G-A-B is the.
Oh, that might be my wife.
There you go. Big shout out. And she's just like, let's go, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah, I didn't even send her the link for this. So.
Oh, there you go. She knew. She
tracked me down.
She was watching. She's tracking you down. Big shout out to Don, Heather, Benny, Alexa, Breakpoint Pool and Spas, Arias Pools, and then Davy Jones. Big shout out to you as well. So, hey, let's take a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, I want to do a couple things. I want to talk about the process because we've kind of talked about it a couple of times and really talk about how easy that process is. I want to talk about finding and picking those cherry pools out there. I want to talk about the job that you did where you went out and you did that humongous pool out there. So we will be right back after these messages.
Hey, pool pros, you're already at the pool. You're already trusted by the homeowner. So why are you leaving pool deck renovation money on the table? Cool for Pools is a roll-on pool deck coating that reduces surface temps by up to 38%, passes ADA slip resistance standards, and installs in under 3 days. No specialized labor, no tear out. Just clean it, coat it, and seal it. A 1,600 square foot job requires $2,500 in materials and bills at $12,800. That's over $10,000 in pre-labor profit. Add it to your next estimate. Ask your local Heritage or SCP locations about Cool today. Visit EncoreCoatings.com or call 888-776-2242. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. U.S. Motors Neptune Variable Speed Motor provides a versatile replacement solution for all your pool pump motor needs. This motor can communicate with pool control systems, provide low voltage options to work with time clocks, and can be installed as a standalone pump motor. The Neptune motor can be easily installed on existing pumps, upgrading them to a variable speed pump without the need for replumbing. Enjoy energy savings and quiet operation by installing a Neptune Variable Speed Motor today. For more information and to find your local distributor, visit usmotors.com/pool. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Meet the pipeline pump from Aquastar Pool Products, the next generation of variable speed pumps designed for serious efficiency. At its core is a high-performance permanent magnet motor that's totally enclosed and fan-cooled, delivering consistent energy-saving operation. Paired with Aquastar's patented high-efficiency volute design, the pipeline pump maintains optimal flow while cutting down on energy use. And it's not just efficient, it's incredibly quiet. Thanks to a high-tech rubber motor mount that absorbs vibrations and dampens sound, the pipeline runs smooth and quiet by limiting turbulence. Its 2.5-inch internal frame ensures unrestricted water flow, and it's available in both 1.5 HP and 3.0 HP models, each with 2-inch and 2.5-inch union fittings for flexible and efficient installation. Experience the pipeline difference, incredibly quiet operation, peak efficiency, and proven performance. Ask your supplier for the pipeline pump from Aquastar. Available now. Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We continue our conversation with Jeff, talking all about decking out here in beautiful Dallas, Texas, baby. I have a video that I want to play. We were talking about it, and I wanted to share the video. So for those of you that are only listening, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to whatever channel you're on, whether you're Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is. Just go search Pool Nation Podcast, and on there you'll be able to find our videos on there. And we're going to play on this podcast, we're going to play that video because it kind of dawned on me big time, especially in the commercial market. And I remember being on vacation, and you're out at these big resorts, and you're out these big pools. As a matter of fact, I just went in January to Mexico, and I remember just kind of walking barefoot on the freaking deck, and it was hot.
It's brutal.
And it reminded me of watching people run from place to place looking for the shade because the deck is so hot. Mm-hmm. And you had shared this, and it had come up in my feed, and so I wanted to share it. So I sent it over to the team here at MZ, and I think it's the perfect visual for people to get to understand. So before we play it, can you tell us about the clip really quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a big resort I don't know if I should name it, but it's a big resort in Nassau. They reached out to us, I don't know, a month ago, really interested in the product. I had a feeling that they were getting complaints about, hot concrete, slippery concrete, and we saw all of that by the time we got down there. But essentially, they're like, hey, we want some test product. I said, no problem. Here's a unit. Let us know if you need some help, because I've been to these water parks in the islands before, and I know how things can go. So I offered up an in-person test. So ended up, they called us and they're like, yeah, we got the product here. Why don't you come down and show us how to do it? So that's what we're doing here. So Caden, shout out to Caden, and I went down there and got it done, man. So what we did was he taped off a section of the resort pool. The pool is open and there's hundreds of people in this. It's a gigantic pool, right? And as we're coming to the end of the test, it's almost finished. We have one more coat of sealer to put on, a clear sealer. So it's almost done. And these women were walking by, running by, burning their feet. They're like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. And they're just rushing to their chairs. And I'm like, Caden, turn on your camera. And it was just so impromptu. And I go, hey, what's your name? Her name was Janelle, and you'll see in the video. I said, we heard her saying it's so hot, and we want her to step foot on our little test spot and see the reaction. And it's a pretty dramatic testimonial. Very genuine. So, yeah, that's what you're about to see.
All right, let's play it so people can take a look at it.
All right, hurry up, because my feet are burning. All right.
Feet are burning.
I'm Janelle. This is Janelle. Janelle is running. We heard her saying it's so hot, she can't even stand. Look at that.
I can stay here all day.
You stay here all day, right?
Stay in this corner, and I'm going to have to run to get to the water.
What a testimonial. Thank you, Janelle.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, usually we kind of give a disclaimer if you're trying to test the heat reduction of this product. A small little square like this is not the best because the heat can circumvent the treated area through the untreated area, right? So if you were to paint a brick and throw it outside, it's not going to do anything. You're not going to get results. The results come from putting a shell over an extended amount of surface that can create the low E or low emissivity. So it's just a fancy word for the ingredients in this product require a lot of energy to increase it 1 degree. Look, Janelle's still standing on it.
Get my shoes so I don't have to go back.
Yeah. Isn't that great? Awesome, right?
She's like, can you give me my shoes so I can walk back?
Yeah, it was brutal. It was 100 degrees outside. So the surface temperature is probably pushing 155. It's super hot. Yeah, that was, 2 weeks ago. So late July in the Bahamas, it's midday.
Brutal, yeah.
It's brutal. So yeah, that was just one of the most impromptu things, man. And it was really powerful. And that turned into a gigantic sale. I tell this to everyone. I'm like, this is a great approach to chasing jobs like this. If you can get out there, get the demo, and have, people out there using the pool, and then you show that to the property owner, it's like, what else? Showing the product is the most effective way, not just talking about it. So that was really neat to go down there, and Caden and I got to chill in the Bahamas for a couple of days too. That's never bad. Yeah, it's what I was saying in the video about the heat reduction is the way the product works is not reflective or anything. So if you paint a brick and throw it outside, you're not going to get results. But once you can put a shell essentially over an extended amount of surface area, it creates this environment that requires a lot of energy to increase it 1 degree Fahrenheit. And that rating, or whatever, is called emissivity. So everything has an emissivity. Wood, steel, some things are super conductive, and it doesn't take a lot of energy to increase it 1 degree Fahrenheit. But things with low emissivity requires a lot of energy. So just another fancy word for how it kind of works, emissivity. Another really cool thing about this product is it can come in any color you want. Any color, like Dallas Cowboys blue or Georgia Bulldog red, or typically what happens is Miss Betty. I always refer to the customer as Miss Betty in these boot camps. So if you've been in the boot camp, you always hear about Miss Betty. But Miss Betty usually wants to match her furniture or her gutters or shutters or her you can accentuate the surrounding environment. You can be very intentional with your color. You can't really do that with any other pool deck coating. It's usually like, hey, here's 12 colors. Pick your favorite one. Hope it, But we've seen intricate designs. We've seen logos. We've seen all kind of very creative things. So any color you want besides clear.
So how does that work? Your product just comes in all these colors, or how does that work?
That's a great question too. It actually comes untinted and unactivated until you add a gallon of paint to it. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like going back to how unique this product is, you open up the bucket and you see a part A and a part B in there. One is a liquid and the other is a powder. And it's completely unactivated until you choose your favorite color at the paint store and get a gallon of that color, and you add that to the bucket prior to applying it. So you're doing that on the job site, mixing it in with a drill. Yeah, it comes out to the color you chose at the paint store. So, you might know that your house is painted agreeable gray from Sherwin-Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to stick in that particular color family when you go do the decking, and you can absolutely do that. Or you can have the wildest abstract thing you can think of.
I think everybody should do Pool Nation Blue, John.
There you go.
Pool Nation Blue. That should be the color for every backyard.
Yeah. With the logo.
With the logo.
Yeah.
There you
With
go.
the logo.
With the
That's
logo in the
other thing,
corner.
too. You can create anything you want with it, right? It's literally, you can create logos, you can use words, you can do whatever you want.
The sky's the
Pretty
limit.
interesting.
We've seen, and another interesting thing is you can apply this similar to a knockdown if you want. And the fact that you can have any color you want, I've seen two-tone knockdowns, like really cool, like a red base with an amber spray coat on top.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taught classes on how to do that. I have a YouTube video on how to do that if you choose. But typically, just roll out 2 coats of the coating, 2 coats of sealer,
Done.
walk off the job, done. So, yeah, that's a really unique feature about the product and people think it's fun,
Especially nowadays, you can just match any color, right? And if the homeowner's like, I want this color, hey, you've got that color number, you've got a match of it, we could just match that color identical.
Absolutely.
It's not close, it's identical.
Yeah. I mean, you can, if you have natural stone around, like natural features, you can, go to the paint store, pick a bunch of chips off the wall and see what plays nicely with everything, and then go with it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I want to do this. I want for the listeners to be able to kind of get a really good idea of how easy it is to be able to do this job. But before we do that, I want to talk about the job that you did where they called you and you decided, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And just kind of share that and how easy it was, and then financially how well that job was.
Yes. I tell this story at every Pool Nation boot camp, and it's really the moment where I see a lot of eyes light up and the light bulb comes on, right? This was back in 2017. My wife was pregnant with our first child, and I was pretty broke, like very broke and scared, and whatever, just getting ready for the first child. And it was the off season. I think it was like November or something, and things were slow or whatever. So I get this call from an HOA in Raleigh or Durham, North Carolina. Ethan's Glen is the community name. And they called me up. Hey, we saw a YouTube video. We're interested in your product. We want you to come do it. I'm like, yeah, well, that's an idea. I could really use the money. Let me see if I can pull this off. Like, how big is it? And they're like, it's 9,000 square feet. So it's a big commercial pool, HOA pool. So I'm like, okay, well, I need the money, so I got to pull this off. So I get in the truck, I go up there and meet the HOA president, walk the pool deck to visually inspect it first. Like, this is what everyone should do, right? Visually inspect it. Am I biting off more than I can chew? No. Okay, let's move forward. I walked the project. It was pretty straightforward. It was bare concrete, just a lot of it. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take the job. Then I was like, well, I don't have a crew. I don't have any equipment of my own, really. I can rent a pressure washer if I want, but I can make it happen, but I don't have a crew. How am I going to pull this off by myself? So I found a local Durham, North Carolina pressure washer just on Facebook or something, Google. Brought him out to lunch while I was up there. We're having Mexican, and I say, man, if I shipped you my cleaner, which is step 1 of the process, how much would you charge me to go out there, spray it on, let it dry, and pressure wash it away? And he goes, 10 cents a square foot, so $900. And I said, absolutely, like, do it. I'll have the product up here in a week. He said, great. And before we finished the lunch, I said, well, do you know any good painters that I could use, up here? And he goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. You need to call Omar. So I call Omar. Hey, man, here's who I am. Here's what I'm doing up here. are you free next week or whenever? And I need 3 or 4 more, of your crew if you have them. He goes, yeah, man, $20 an hour, cash, all of us, good to go. I said, I'll take all of you. It's a big project. So I show up. When I showed up a couple weeks later, the deck is cleaned. I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't have to mess with the pressure washer. It's like good and ready to go. I meet Omar and we get to work. And we knocked that job out in 4 days. And it was a decorative finish. It wasn't just 2 coats of sealer. It was 2 coats of the Cool. And then we mixed up 2 additional colors and sprayed those through hopper guns for this nice granite, natural stone kind of decorative finish. And knocked it out in 4 days. I paid them $20 an hour and bought them Modelos at the end of every day. And we ate well and we went out to eat and it was great. And I charged $4 a square foot turnkey. So I walked off the job with a $36,000 check, which was dirt cheap for what we did. I mean, the decorative finish, the 2 colors, and that would pull like $8 or $9 a square foot nowadays. Easy with that decorative finish. So, do the math. But I walked off with $36,000 and, I had to pay them. I had to pay the pressure washer, like whatever. But in that time of my life, that changed my situation. And that was the only pool deck I needed to do that year. It really got me it gave me security of where I was in my life. So I tell this story only to say, it's like, guys, you don't have to be a coatings expert. You don't have to invest in all the equipment and the trailer and the grinders and this and that. And you don't even have to invest in a pressure washer if you don't want to. If you can take this class, watch my YouTube channels, and become more of a project manager, find a pressure washer, find a few painters around town, develop a good relationship with them, and come up with a little repeatable, scalable model where like you can go inspect the job, you put eyes on it first, meet the homeowner, make the sale, and then pressure washer shows up, boom, clean, your painting crew shows up, they knock it out. Yeah, you're there because you're the one who took the class and you're the project manager. And yeah, you might get your hands dirty a little bit, but you can 1099 those guys and totally sub out everything. Again, the product does have some nuances to it, but it's not rocket science. This is not super straightforward. And since it's such a premium product that checks all the boxes, I mean, it's not out of the ordinary to see $6 to $8 a square foot installed. And you're going to have, we put together a really special pricing program through Heritage Pool Supply where you can get the full system for like $1.52 a square foot. And then miscellaneous materials, tape, plastic rollers, stuff like that. You're still well under $2 a square foot for materials. And if you're charging $6 to $8 a square foot, 2.5 days, I have an example in my pitch deck at the boot camps where it's an example job. It's like the second one. I'm like, here's why you're here. Like before we get into what the product is, here's why you're here. Because in 2.5 days, you can walk off with $10,000 in profit. That's what I go back to. I'm like, this is the turbocharger on the vehicle. It's not the essentials, but if you choose to implement this into your business, it can really change your situation, even if you're only doing 2 or 3 a year. Yeah. So yeah, that's the story of Ethan's Glen. And so how that transpired is I was like reminiscing on that time in my life, like a year ago. And I was like, I'm going to call that guy. So I pick up the phone, I call him, and I said, dude, do you remember me? And he goes, of course I remember you. I said, well, how's the pool deck holding up, And he goes, I got to say, it's holding up remarkably well. And I said, well, that's great to hear. Have you resealed it at all? Do you keep it clean? He's like, no, we've neglected it and it's perfect. And so I said, dude, what I want to do is bring you some clear sealer because we usually recommend like to reseal it every couple of years. I said, here's what I want to do. I'm going to come up there. I'm going to bring you some clear sealer on the house, right? And I want to sit down and I just want to do a video and interview you. So that video is actually called How Long Does Cool Last? Because this thing is now on year 9. It's in perfect shape. It's a commercial pool. It's furniture, a lot of foot traffic, kids running around. I believe it's chlorine pool, but anyways, I mean, it's on year 9 and just looks absolutely pristine. And so that's just such a common question. Like people ask me, well, how long does it really last? So I was like, this is a golden opportunity to do a video, sit down with him, the president of the HOA, kind of run through his thought process of how he found us, what the options were, the previous bids that he had gotten to do a knockdown, which were astronomical, right? And that's kind of another point I want to hit on, if you don't mind, is what I call the knockdown dilemma. Again, the knockdown products are so good, as far as the durability and the longevity when they're installed correctly. I've seen them last 20 years. I've also seen them fail within 1 year if a goofball installed it, right? You got to know what you're doing. But since they last so long, it has opened the biggest opportunity in the pool deck space if you're using our product. What happens is at year 5 and year 6, although it still has really good bones and it has a lot of life left in it, it looks a little shabby. It's faded and maybe developed some cracks, and Miss Betty wants to change her color. That was 5 years ago, the trends are new or whatever. At that point, she will call a contractor who specializes in knockdowns, perhaps the one that put on the original. And he'll come out there and say, Miss Betty, I would love to install a new knockdown for you, but here's what has to happen. I'm going to get my grinders out here. I have to grind all this up. It's going to be messy. It's going to be dusty. But I have to grind this old knockdown off to bare concrete because you cannot apply a new one on an old one. And once we grind it off, we're going to have to prepare the concrete and clean it. And then eventually I'm going to get my crew out here to install this very labor-intensive knockdown, a new one. And by the time it's all done, it's $16 a square foot and like $40,000 for a little residential pool. I'm not kidding. Like, it's because it's
Crazy.
so much labor, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's out of Miss Betty's budget. So when she gets herself off the floor from the sticker shock, she's, going through the options in her head. Well, that's preposterous. She knows it has good bones. Like, it might have a couple cracks, right? But the other mistake she could make at that point is going down to Home Depot and finding a glorified paint, an exterior concrete walking surface paint, right? And yes, it's easy to install. Yes, it's very cost effective. Yeah, she can find the kid down the street trying to make an extra buck over the summer to apply it for her. But paints don't make sense around pools, period. They get hot, they get slippery, they peel. So
Chems, water, all of it.
all of it. And this situation has created the biggest opportunity in the pool deck renovation space, and it's what I call the knockdown dilemma, where you can come out and say, Miss Betty, haven't you heard about this? I took the class on this, and Cool is the only product that can logically resurface an existing knockdown and continue to keep it cool, continue to keep it safe, and it's engineered for this. It's going to last. You're going to have great texture that's safe. You can have any color you want. It's going to stay comfortable on your feet. You're going to have a warranty, things like that. So we figured that out a long time ago where, again, the original Cool Deck with a K is such a great product, and I would never say anything bad about anyone out in the industry, but Mortex is who makes that. And it's so funny. If you go on their website, they actually sell a color paint, like a paint that can revive an old knockdown. But the first thing they tell you is, hey, it's going to get hot. So it's like, that doesn't make much sense. It's like, that sucks because I want my decking to look nice. And this is what I paid for, is this cooling and all this. But you're telling me if I just want to make it look good again, I'm going to sacrifice everything I signed up for. So Cool, we found a long time ago, it's the only product you can resurface knockdowns with that continues to perform like a true functional pool deck coating and check all the boxes. So I call it the knockdown dilemma, but I also frame it up to pool service pros like, hey, this is a golden opportunity because the knockdowns, there's so many of them. There's 4 million of them, we estimate, there's like 10.6 million pools in the country. 80% of those or so are in ground, but I think there's like 3 to 4 million knockdowns out there that are begging for this product. They are begging for Cool, and painting them with ordinary paint is just the biggest mistake you could make because it's going to put you in a perpetual maintenance cycle. You're not going to like walking on it barefoot, so on and so forth. So this has opened up a golden opportunity if you have Cool in your bag of tricks, and if you have an educated homeowner as well. It's like they're on Reddit, they're on Facebook, they know, they're starting to learn like, oh, I shouldn't paint this, I'm not going to stain this, whatever. But yeah, so I also have a slide in my presentation called, pitching and positioning the picture perfect profitable pool deck. And my CEO would laugh because that's 6 Ps. And
he's always
preaching the 6 Ps, but this is a new 6 Ps. So this is how you do it. The picture perfect profitable pool deck is you walk out, you have an old knockdown at Miss Betty's place. It has a couple cracks maybe, but for the most part, it has good bones. And to confirm that, there's a couple things you can do. You can tap on it. You can walk around the deck, just tap on it with a broomstick. And if you hear hollow areas, that means it has separated from the concrete beneath, whether you can tell or not yet, but that hollow sound doesn't lie. And so that's how you kind of diagnose if it has good bones or not. But look, if it has good bones, most of them do. You can clean it, coat it, seal it, do your crack repairs. We have a great new crack repair product coming out, by the way. And yeah, I mean, that is the picture perfect profitable pool deck, because your competition is coming in and giving the $40,000 demolition and replacement quote. So if you come in after that, you look with a product that's designed to do what needs to be done for $6 a square foot, not 16, you look like the hero.
That's huge.
You look like the hero. And it's like a no-brainer for the homeowner. It's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. This is exactly what I had in mind. Like, so that
so
is
for the pool pro, and I want you to think of it let's kind of walk a pool pro through them going out. So they listen to the podcast and then they're going to go out and do their route. I want them to look for 3-5 pools that are those cherry pools that are like prime to have minimal problems, to be, those cherry pick pools. So they're walking the backyard. What are they looking for?
Well, first off, I'd kick your shoes off, see if it's hot, and then say, Miss Betty, wouldn't you like something that's not hot? But yeah, okay, if it's bare concrete, it's obviously a great candidate for our product. So again, I like to inspect it for just a visual inspection first. Is it weird looking? Is it discolored? Like, a lot of bad concrete will rear its ugly head within the first few weeks, really. It's starting to cure and it's already cracking. Or if you heard things like, oh, we poured this slab and it was cracking too or drying too quickly, these are all like little red flags. But a visual diagnosis at first. Does it look okay? And then rub your hand on the bare concrete. If your hand's covered in chalky powder, that's a big red flag. It's what we call efflorescence.
And what is that? What does the white mean?
The white chalky residue is a mixture of minerals. It could be calcium or potassium or Portland, these minerals that are mixed in with the batch of concrete when it's batched. And like for instance, in the wintertime, they'll add extra calcium to help it cure faster in lower temperatures. Well, that's fine most of the time, but a lot of times the concrete simply doesn't moisture cure correctly or at the right pace and things like this. So what you end up with is this layer of residue of minerals on the surface that, rather than being integrated into the cure, which it was supposed to be, it didn't for whatever reason. Maybe it was too hot outside. Maybe it was too cold outside. Maybe it got rained on too soon. Or what's really common is what we call a hot batch of concrete that was just rolling around in the truck for too long before it got to the job. Mm-hmm. And it was just already cooking in there, and it's summer day and it gets poured and just doesn't cure correctly. So what you end up with is this residue that I call it the kiss of death for any coatings that you might consider. Again, it can be fixed, but you need to know about it before you spend time and money on a coating, because I've seen it reject coatings in a week and coatings just coming up in sheets. So that's the first thing. But if you have bare concrete and it looks good and there's no residue, the only other test I would do is a moisture test. Drains, like near the drains, I've seen clogged drains where runoff doesn't evacuate the deck properly. So what you have is a moisture source underneath the concrete slab that can cause issues. That's what we call hydrostatic pressure. When sun comes out, moisture wants to evaporate, it has to go somewhere. A lot of times, if you have a moisture source under concrete, it's just going to come through the concrete and outgas through the top. And if you've never had a paint or coating on the deck, you would never know this is happening until you introduce a resistance to that surface, right? A layer of paint, a coating, a knockdown, whatever. Now that moisture has nowhere to go, and it will find the weakest point and bubble coating sometimes. So you can do that moisture test. Just throw a rubber mat out there, a welcome mat, wait 24 hours, lift it up. If you have condensation under there, you could have a hydrostatic pressure issue. But that's just a very quick test you can do. It's pretty common in Florida, when you're like on the water table, things like that. Or again, clogged drains, poor draining soil, things like that. But most of the time, if you have some solid concrete, that's a cherry job. And then, like I said, the old knockdowns that have good bones. They just need a little loving. Those are cherry jobs, man.
Yeah.
Cherry.
Yeah. I could just picture whether it's an HOA or something like that, and they've got the neck knocked down, and it's just 5 or 6 years. And really, they need that fresh look, right? And everything's intact and perfect. And it's like,
yeah. I mean, that's so cherry. And you're positioned so well to win that job because any other competition that has a knockdown is way out of the budget. And any other goofball coming out there with a glorified paint homeowners can see through that too. Well, like, what exactly are you going to paint on my pool deck? Because like my dogs and my grandchildren, is it going to be slippery in there? So yeah, it's good. And you can do your research online. You know, it's not that hard to find horror stories from homeowners who thought paint was a good idea.
Yeah.
And it will make it look good again, but it's...
How long is the question, right? It could...
How long and what did you give up?
I was going to say, and then the big thing, especially on the knockdown, if you're giving up that heat resistance, you're...
Right. I mean, it's not only giving it, it's like making it really hot, you know? And my thing is always like, look, the pool deck needs to be functional. It needs to be functional. That's why it's such a peculiar application, you know, because it's the only paint or coating that we're really touching with our bare skin on a regular basis. The paint on the side of your house just needs to last 6 years. It needs to come in the color I want. It's almost, we expect it to fail in 6 years. And when it does, it's time for a new paint job. Yeah. But if you choose the wrong product for your pool deck, you will know it immediately, like day one. And you're like, oh, crap. It's the color I wanted, but it doesn't function. So, yeah.
So talk to me really quick. So obviously, here's a couple of ideas to kind of go cherry pick those pools. And then... how is the process? I know you've talked about part 1, you've talked about part 2, and mixing A and B and stuff like that. What's that 3-step process?
Yep. 3-step process is clean it, coat it, seal it. So we have a very effective cleaner that you spray it on, let it dry, and pressure wash it away. And you would use that for bare concrete, old knockdowns, previously painted concrete, stamped concrete, exposed aggregate decks. You know, that's another thing about this product is that it's so versatile and dynamic that you can resurface just about anything you have out there, any of those aforementioned surfaces, which saves demolition costs, right? So we can save a lot of existing surfaces. And so that's the first step, clean it. Second step, you blend up the coatings, usually in the morning before it gets too hot outside, and you roll out 2 coats with a 3/4 inch nap roller. Dries very quickly. Usually takes at least an hour to get around with your first coat. And as long as the weather's good, you can rock and roll with your second coat. And I've seen 2,000 square feet get knocked out in a day with 2 people. But sometimes you run into the third day, you know, but the last step is 2 coats of clear sealer. And all of this is installed with standard paint tools. Pump up garden sprayers, brushes, rollers. Gonna need some tape, plastic sheeting, but nothing out of the ordinary. But yeah, 3-step system. Clean it, coat it, seal it.
That sealer, you apply the second coat and the same thing. By the time you're done with the other one, you can apply the other one, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want an hour in between each coat.
Okay.
But so usually it's, you know, to make your way around the pool, it's an hour. So going back to, you know, what is a cherry job? What we've done such a good job at over the years is kind of being there when you need us. Well, you know, Caden gives out his personal cell phone like every day. He's got people texting him, and I always tell people, I said, call him any time of the night because he's not even supposed to sleep. All he's supposed to do is help you and sell cool. So that's a big help. You can send him pictures like, hey, I'm kind of unsure about this. How do I fix, you know, tell me about this. And we're happy to just give you the truth every time, right? And also you can say, hey, look up 1386 Owl Lane, Dallas, and we can zoom over the house with the satellites and measure that out and tell you how many square feet it is. So that's pretty cool too. You know,
wait, back up. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's Caden actually like coded his own Google Earth like estimator thing, but you can do this on Google Earth too. So essentially when a contractor, maybe it's an hour drive and he doesn't know how big it is, whatever, we can help you. Like we can just give us the address. We'll fly over it with the satellites on Google Earth, right? And measure out the pool deck and say, hey, dude, it looks like it's 2,462 square feet. Here's exactly what you'll need as far as material demand. So there's no real guesswork, and he can kind of do the math before he even gets there to inspect the job. So So is it worth the hour drive?
Right.
You know, if it's 200 square feet, it might not be. So that's another service we do. It's just anything and everything, man. I mean, we really hold the hand of anyone, whether it's a contractor, a do-it-yourselfer, or a HOA, or, you know, whatever. We're really responsive, and it's kind of how it has to be, you know, because in the space, I mean, you've heard the horror stories, and we have like thousands of 5-star reviews from people who are not coatings experts, and that's pretty impressive for the, if you want to call it a DIY product, like anything in the DIY is, you're going to find these bad reviews, like, oh, this product sucks and whatever. And there's a few out there about us, and I'll take those on the chin every day because there's so many 5 stars, and being in the paint and coating space, to have that kind of review and that kind of reputation, like, it's unheard of in the DIY pool deck coating space. Yeah, really. So
awesome. Hey guys, sorry, were you gonna say something, John? No. Hey, let's do this. Let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, I want to get some final thoughts.
Hey, pool pros, you're already at the pool. You're already trusted by the homeowner. So why are you leaving pool deck renovation money on the table? Cool for Pools is a roll-on pool deck coating that reduces surface temps by up to 38%, passes ADA slip resistance standards, and installs in under 3 days. No specialized labor, no tear out. Just clean it, coat it, and seal it. A 1,600 square foot job requires $2,500 in materials and bills at $12,800. That's over $10,000 in pre-labor profit. Add it to your next estimate. Ask your local Heritage or SCP locations about Cool today. Visit Encore Coatings17 or call 888-776-2242. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. U.S. Motors Neptune Variable Speed Motor provides a versatile replacement solution for all your pool pump motor needs. This motor can communicate with pool control systems, provide low voltage options to work with time clocks, and can be installed as a standalone pump motor. The Neptune motor can be easily installed on existing pumps, upgrading them to a variable speed pump without the need for replumbing. Enjoy energy savings and quiet operation by installing a Neptune Variable Speed Motor today. For more information and to find your local distributor, visit usmotors.com/pool. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Meet the pipeline pump from Aquastar Pool Products, the next generation of variable speed pumps designed for serious efficiency. At its core is a high-performance permanent magnet motor that's totally enclosed and fan-cooled, delivering consistent energy-saving operation. Paired with Aquastar's patented high-efficiency volute design, the pipeline pump maintains optimal flow while cutting down on energy use. And it's not just efficient, it's incredibly quiet. Thanks to a high-tech rubber motor mount that absorbs vibrations and dampens sound, the pipeline runs smooth and quiet by limiting turbulence. Its 2.5-inch internal frame ensures unrestricted water flow, and it's available in both 1.5 HP and 3.0 HP models, each with 2-inch and 2.5-inch union fittings for flexible and efficient installation. Experience the pipeline difference: incredibly quiet operation, peak efficiency, and proven performance. Ask your supplier for the pipeline pump from Aquastar. Available now. Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. John is laughing at me. We're sitting over here. Jeff and I are sitting over here chit-chatting and going away, and then all of a sudden my brain just kind of went, hey, that's the last commercial. So how'd you like how I saved that, John?
Yeah, no, I was.
You were ready to jump in, though, weren't you? I saw you. You were like,
no, it's nice to see you, because usually sometimes it's us that we miscalculate by a couple seconds, right? Or we don't turn the video back on, but you were definitely caught sleeping there.
So, hey, Jeff, let me ask you, obviously we've covered a lot of things. Really like talking about, those cherry pools, especially with those knockdowns. And we were talking about it on break. It's like, man, there's just such an opportunity to be able to go out there and find some of these that, and what happens to paint and color over the years, right? The sun fades it a little bit. There's no preventing that. If it's sitting in the sun, at some point, it's got to give. Mm-hmm. But man, just being able to even go to some of those pools that all they need is just that refresh, right? Like it's picture perfect backyard, just needs that refresh. And you can come in and you can kind of bid that job and kind of come out as a savior.
Yeah. And you can be really looked at as the hero if you have the right product, right? And so, like I said earlier, a lot of pool service people, they just feel like pool deck renovation is just out of their wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. But it's also because they've just never found the right product that they can trust, the one that makes sense. And, if I could just leave them with anything right now, it's like, look, if you want to incorporate this into your business, it is the largest margin, the highest margin add-on service you can possibly have in the pool service game without being a construction builder, right? Like, go grab these profits out there, because I know you're being asked by the homeowner. But if you implement this into your business, there's no new customer acquisition costs, no crew required. You don't need to go buy a bunch of equipment, and we will help you do it. We will hold your hand. We will see you at the boot camps. We'll send you samples. We'll send you brochures, and really spend all the time you need on the phone just to get you trained up. So again, this is available through Heritage Pool Supply at 20% off retail. So anywhere you can find this product online, you can get it 20% cheaper through Heritage, any Heritage Pool Supply. So we wanted to do that for contractors to, first of all, you're instantly competitive with that pricing, and that will bump your material cost down to like $1.52 a square foot, which again, regular paint is more expensive than you may think, like a concrete paint. It's this $1.50 a square foot is, first of all, the cleaner, the coating, and the sealer. So it's a full system engineered for the pool deck, where like an ordinary glorified paint for a pool deck or concrete patio, those things are like 90 cents a square foot with 2 coats. So it's like, yeah. So I would leave it with you, strongly consider, what a couple of these jobs could do for your business this year or next year. And we're here to help you, and ask your local Heritage about it.
All right. What was it if they wanted Encore with an E, Encore Coatings with a plural?
Yes. Encore is, with an E, ENCORE, coatings.com.
So they could go there and kind of reach you guys.
You can go there. You can reach us there. You can watch all the YouTube videos there. And if you want, I'm happy to send you the presentation deck with this Bahamas video that you saw. It has the North Carolina video, how long does it last? It has a full tutorial, GoPro, how to clean it, how to coat it, how to seal it. And then it has a video in there of what not to do. It's called the 5 things that will wreck your project. So that's important to know too, right? I always say the best way to avoid a trap is to know it's there first before you get there, right? So that video's in there too. We're happy to send you that link. Maybe we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. Send me the link. We'll post it.
So. Absolutely. So I just want to, it's like the high performance products that will unlock pool deck revenue for you. Those high performance products are now available to everyone, right? That's what we've unlocked is a high performance overlay essentially that is installed with standard paint tools. So start getting your share of the pool deck renovation business,
Absolutely. Get out there. John, did you have any final words?
Yeah, no, look, just to piggyback a little bit on what Jeff and what you were talking about, and to kind of send like a disclaimer or a message to all our peeps is, if we didn't believe this was a golden opportunity for you guys, we definitely wouldn't be having this conversation and introducing it to you and having them out at the boot camps. We've always preached about maximizing every client that you have and making sure that you're not allowing profits or revenue or the ability to be able to provide solutions for your customers to slip through your fingers. And I know it's scary. Think of it like each and every one of us has gone through this, especially as an entrepreneur. Jeff did it himself with his example to the HOA that he did. I mean, as pool pros, when we start off as service providers and we're there, usually when customers ask for repairs and we're not comfortable with them, either we have them subcontracted or we have other people come out and do the work for us until we get to the point and we say, hey, look, you know what? I want to try it on my own. And then you finally make that jump and you try it on your own and you figure out, hey, it's not so bad and I'm able to do it. And now you open up yourself into a world of opportunities and increased revenue. But more importantly, you get to be the sole provider of service and repairs for your clients. Well, now here's just another piece of the puzzle that I think we unintentionally, or we don't know what we don't know. And we look at it as something that has been so far out of the realm that isn't a part of the services that maybe a pool company would provide, when in reality, it's been knocking at our doorstep this whole time and we just haven't seen it. But more importantly, when you're ready to make that jump and you see how easy it is to be able to apply it, if it's done correctly and you do your prep work just like anything else, you have the support and the backing from Jeff and team to be there to help you through that installation. Because I remember when I did my first pump install, right? I didn't have anybody I can call and do, but I managed to get through it and make it happen. It would be nice if I was able to pick up the phone or get some help or come up with a game plan prior to doing it. Well, with this, now you have those resources and that backing so that you can feel confident going into the backyard that you can provide the solution to the customers and make a boatload of money while doing it. And look, this is fairly new, right? If you think about it, especially for us in our industry on the service side of it. And anything new might be a little bit scary, but I promise you, if you jump on this bandwagon, you capitalize now while you can, there's a huge opportunity to be able to make a lot of money. So Jeff, thank you so much for coming out to Dallas again and joining us and doing this podcast. This is going to be a story that we're going to keep telling over and over again. And as we do more and more boot camps, you guys, every time we do our boot camps, the boys over at Pool Decking are there. Sign up, get there, take the class in person. If that's what you need before you take the jump, do it. I'm looking forward to seeing you again and to the next boot camp.
John.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
I have an idea.
Sure.
See, that's why I like John. I'm like, John, I have an idea. So let's go. It was like, there's no...
Can't be the most dangerous of friends as well.
Yeah.
I have a few of those friends.
Yeah. The only thing is you ask John if you're going to go something stupid, let's jump off this building. He goes, yeah, sure, but he'll push you first, you know.
Show me.
So, hey, here's the idea. Here's what I think we should do for this next round. And if it's a bad idea, you can tell me no. You won't hurt my feelings. You can say you're crazy. That's going to be a negative ghostwriter.
Okay.
But I think what we should do is I think we should find a pool, whether it's a backyard, a customer. I think whether it's a small commercial pool or something like that. And what we do is we actually do a pool. And then what we do is we invite 25, 30, 40 pool pros, whatever it is. And we actually have them come out so that they can see it and that the fear is gone.
Real world. Yeah, let's do it. So I don't know if anyone's listening, if like a HOA is listening around Dallas would be great.
Yep.
Right?
Dallas?
So? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dallas would be great.
We could do it out my way, too.
We could do it out John's way. So if there's anybody that's listening, here's what we're willing to do. We're willing to do, I don't know what we call it, a real class, a real hands-on, where we're actually going to go out and do a project, wherever it is, whether it's a residential or a small HOA. And then what we'll do is we'll get the people to sign up. we'll go out and they can help and be part of it, and we'll record it and we'll do all that.
That'd be amazing.
There you go.
I'm all for it.
See, John, I got one good idea today.
No, I think it's awesome. And I think sometimes, that's what you need to take. At least
we should do it in John's area because we haven't gone to play down there.
Let's do it. I have clients. I'll pick one and we can do it at one of my customers' homes.
But not
I'll tell them this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. And they'll do it.
But not when it's 120 degrees. So that'll have to be.
No, we gotta wait till fall, winter time when it's beautiful.
Yeah.
85 degrees in the dead of winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're coming into the time of the year that I call commercial season, like commercial pools, hotels, the schools, YMCAs, they kind of, after Labor Day, they kind of shut down for maintenance. Yeah. So you guys keep an eye out for that, and
all right, we're going to do it, everybody. That's what we're going to do. Hey, I hope that everybody enjoyed the podcast. Join me John, this is weird. Join me and John tomorrow night on the Instagram Live. We normally say it Friday for Wednesday, but we'll be live tomorrow. We'll be doing the squares for Michaela, right? We're going to be talking a little bit about what it is that we're doing on the 14th. Hope that everybody enjoys the rest of the week and go out there and make some money.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Anytime, brother. Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Jeff. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation Podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.